One of 4 men shot in Clarendon attack has died. The police are reporting that one of the 4 men shot in Slim Lane, Clarendon on Wednesday has succumbed to his injuries. He is 32-year-old Marvin Harriott, an event decorator of Slim Lane. Harriott was admitted in critical condition in hospital. So it has theorized that the attack was a reprisal for the February murder of a man in the same community, stemming from an alleged ongoing feud over the construction of a shop, which has been blamed for causing a decline in revenue at another establishment. According to reports, about 8:45 p.m. on Wednesday, the men were at a shop when a white Nissan Tiida motor car pulled up. 2 men armed with handguns fired several shots before fleeing the scene. The injured men were rushed to hospital. 18-year-old charged for Winward Road Trip murder. Detectives assigned to the Major Investigations Division MID have charged 18-year-old Richard Jonas, otherwise called Monkey Man, and Jelani, in connection with a triple murder that occurred along Winward Road, St. Andrew in May. Jonas, a carpenter of Moonlight Drive, Kingston 19, is charged with murder, wounding with intent, possession of prohibited weapon, unauthorized possession of ammunition, and conspiracy to commit murder. He is scheduled to go before the Kingston and St. Andrew Parish Court on Friday, June 28. Those killed in the May 13 gun attack were 23-year-old Sabian Clark of Winward Road, 20-year-old Troy Dennis of Wellington Street, Kingston 6, and 15-year-old Marcus Morgan of Lloyd Road, Kingston 6. The police report that about 3:10 p.m., the 3 were in a yard when armed men exited a motor car and opened gunfire, hitting them. They were assisted to hospital, where they were pronounced dead. Jonas was later positively identified as one of the 5 of the armed men. St. Elizabeth man arrested after firearm seiz at Manchester Wake. A man was arrested and a firearm seized at a wake in Comfort Hall, Manchester on Sunday morning. Police said about 2:14 a.m., the man, a 29-year-old construction worker of Castleton District in Balaclava, St. Elizabeth, was among a group of people at a wake in Comfort Hall when he was reportedly observed acting suspiciously. Police said he was searched and a Glock pistol with the 9 rounds of ammunition was reportedly taken from his waistband. He was taken into custody and is to face an identification parade. Over 500 students granted special accommodations during PEP exams. Over 500 students were granted special accommodations to sit the primary exit profile PEP examination this year. Education Minister Favor Williams made the disclosure during a PEP result release press conference on Friday. She noted that special accommodations granted included extra time, braille script, and linguistic aids. Mrs. Williams said over 30 students sat the exam in hospitals. She outlined that 30 special needs students were registered for the exam this year.
Obviously, we would have identified 313 of them from last year because they sat PEP 5 then. We saw 190 new students requesting special accommodation. Schools would have had to submit a psychoeducational assessment report to the Examination and Assessment and Administration Services branch, which is then submitted to the Special Education Unit for evaluation. Special accommodations are granted based on evaluations of the assessment reports. And just to give you some examples of what the special accommodations were, it could have been just some extra time, a prompter, a reader, a writer, or a scribe. This year as well, the PEP 6 exams were administered to over 30 students in hospitals across the island. We want to thank the Ministry of Health and Wellness for partnering with us in facilitating the administration of the PEP exams in their facilities. We would also like to commend the Jamaica Constabulary Force for always being available to provide support, especially in circumstances where the exams were being administered in institutions located in volatile areas. These special needs included physical challenges, for example, wheelchair users, visually impaired, hearing impaired, and intellectual challenges. The unique needs of each student are assessed by the officers in the special education unit, and the schools they're placed in are evaluated to ensure that they will be fairly accommodated.
Man charged with attempted murder, arson, over attack on ex-girlfriend and her daughter. A man who locked himself, his ex-girlfriend and her daughter inside the woman's house and then set it ablaze has been charged by the police with attempted murder and arson. He is 46-year-old Nicholas Rhodes, otherwise called Nick, of Duane Drive, Kingston 20. His court date is being arranged. The incident happened on Swallow Road, St. Andrew on Monday, June 17. Reports from the Hunts Bay police are that about 6:30 a.m., Nicholas went to the home of his ex-girlfriend in an effort to rekindle the relationship. When his request was not met, he locked himself inside the house along with the woman and her daughter and set the dwelling on fire, the police reported. Neighbors reported hearing the woman's cry for help and summoned the police. The occupants of the house were transported to hospital for treatment. Nicholas was subsequently charged. There is no way we can continue on this path. A share of the millions of dollars collected in traffic ticket fines could be used for a major public education campaign aimed at stemming the carnage of the nation's road if Larry Voss gets his wish. Voss, the Minister of Science, Energy, Telecommunications and Transport, described the number of road crashes and fatalities as a national emergency, saying last week that the situation is getting from bad to worse and needs an immediate response through a proper structured public education campaign. There is no way that we can continue on this path in relation to the loss of lives and the impact on families and our infrastructure, hospital services, and so on, which is a national emergency, Voss told a press conference at his Trafalgar Road offices in St. Andrew last week, pointing out that while the 192 deaths recorded since the start of the year is 13% less than the 205 recorded for the same period last year, Voss stressed that this is still totally unacceptable. He lamented that based on his inquiries, there is no budget allocated to the Transport Ministry for public education and other activities surrounding road safety. He noted that the revenue earned from the traffic fine are normally distributed between the Ministry of National Security, which gets 42% of the funds, and the Ministry of Justice, which gets 82%, while the balance goes to the Consolidated Fund through the Ministry of Finance and Public Service. I made a simple recommendation. Out of that 100%, the Ministry of Transport must get an allocation. It was accepted and the Permanent Secretary is awaiting a draft cabinet submission to see exactly what the recommendation has been in relation to the allocation, Voss stated, noting that in excess of 600 million in traffic ticket fines were collected between January and June 2nd this year. Voss said a share of up to 25% could fund a properly structured response to what is taking place on the roads. He said the funds would not have to be used for public education only and could include the provision of helmets for motorcyclists, as he made reference to Prime Minister Andrew Horne's plan to distribute 10,000 helmets to motorcyclists. If those 10,000 were procured and used, he said some of the deaths in recent weeks could have been prevented. Voss said the plan is to put in place a long-term campaign and not the Transport Ministry finding 5 million here and another ministry finding 10 million there and running the campaign for 3 months and then it's all over. You're talking about something that has to be sustained and a plan. That is what the message that we're going to be doing to get out there into the psyche of the people, that when they get behind the wheels, the first thing that they must remember before they move off is what they saw vividly on the screen, on the highway, what they saw in the television commercials in relation to something that could get them to say, you know something, I better take it easy today, he stated. Voss said that to ensure the sustainability of the intervention, the government may need international assistance from organizations that do this every day and have seen the results. I look forward to that reallocation, which will allow us to move very fast, but we cannot wait on that. We have to find other ways and means to be able to start the process getting the solution in conjunction with the police to stem the deaths on the roads, he stated. Please remember to subscribe, like, share, and click the notification bell for daily updates.